My name's Patrick Stevenson. I'm Professor of German and Linguistics here. And do come in. There's a few seats over here if you like. Just over the end here. And I'm going to spend about 30 minutes or so talking to you about modern languages and linguistics at Southampton. I'd like to just start, just because it's a bit static sitting in here, maybe a little bit of movement. First time in Southampton, could you hold your hand up, just wave, is this your first time here? Quite a lot, probably more, over half I think, maybe even more. Well, I'm not from here, and the first time I came to Southampton was for a job interview. So I'd never set foot in Southampton before I came to work here in this department. 38 years and 2 grown-up children later, I'm still here. This could mean one of two things. One, nowhere else would have me. Possibility, I'll grant you. The other, which I prefer to go with, background, a bit of feedback. The preferred explanation from my point of view is that I like it here. I like it here in Southampton, I like it here in this university, and above all in this department. It's a department that I feel very attached to because I've kind of grown up with it, if you like, spent most of my adult life here, and I'm proud of what we've become. What it is and what it's like will be for you to judge. I'm just going to try and spend the time given to me this morning, or this afternoon now, to try and do two things really. One, to give you a sense of what do we do, what kinds of things do we do here, what's on offer, and how do we do it? And the second point is, what's in it for you? If you were to come and study here, what would it be like? And what could it do for you? Where might you go on to? Before I start all that though, perhaps just a word about sort of factual background, if you like. You may have heard of the Russell Group. It's a group of top research universities in the UK. And we are a founder member of that group, and looked at globally. These statistics may not mean a lot to you or to anyone, but we like to say we are in the top 1% of global universities. I think it has to mean something. We have many students coming here. A really important thing for all of you, I'm sure, is what happens when I leave here. And you can see very clearly that a very large number of our graduates, almost overwhelmingly, in fact 94%, will have gone on to employment or further study very shortly after they leave. We, in terms of the kinds of prospects that our graduates have, we're right up there in the top 20 in the UK. Our graduates go on, and if they want work, they'll find work. So I want to reassure you about that at the outset. We have lots of students. We have nearly 25,000, so it's a growing and very big university, a very international university. Our students come from all over the world. And there's many things that you can do as a student here in terms of engaging with other students, learning to, getting to know other students outside your studies. 300 societies doing all sorts of stuff, from cultural activities through volunteering to sport. The key thing that I really wanted to focus on is what is it that we do with you as students in our Department of Modern Languages and Linguistics. And that's where this point about the modules that we offer, the kind of teaching that we provide for you, is really key. And I'll say quite a bit about that as we go through. Southampton, most of you said this was your first time here. You may not have had a great deal of chance to look around today. I hope you get a quick glimpse of it anyway. Intriguingly, it has come out in a survey as one of the top 6 cities to live in Britain in terms of quality of life and opportunities and so forth. It's very well placed. It has a small regional airport, but actually gives you links globally now. You can actually fly via KLM from here to New York. So not direct, but you can do it. It's very close to London. The fast train service a couple of times an hour to London in an hour. You're right on the edge of the National Park of the New Forest. Easy to get to the Isle of Wight. If my wife were here, who's an archaeologist and studied Southampton in great detail, she could bore you for hours about the archaeology and history of Southampton. I find it fascinating. Let me know if you'd like her to give you a talk. It is a major port city. Unlike our rival down the road, Portsmouth, we don't talk about them a lot, but they are the Royal Navy, they're the military port, if you like. We're the commercial or civilian port. Big for containers. Every plastic Chinese toy you pick up probably will have come through Southampton at some stage, one of these great big boxes. More interestingly, I think it is the UK centre for cruise shuttles. So it's a major sort of leisure centre, both locally and externally as well. A few little snapshots of the city. First one here, this is in one of the many restaurants in Oxford Street, which is a kind of downtown area, very buzzy, full of all sorts of different kinds of bars and restaurants and so forth. The Mayflower Theatre, a very large venue that does everything from pantomimes through concerts to comedies to serious theatre, named, as you might imagine, after the famous ship that sailed from Southampton to bring people to the new land on the other side of the Atlantic several centuries ago. Really important point for sad people like me who are Southampton FC fans for our pains. St Mary's Stadium, 32,000 capacity, you'll all fit in. Do come, we can only get better. This isn't my daughter, but it could be. She's passionate about shopping. This is two young women outside West Quay. It's a massive shopping development that's just been extended even more. So just a few weeks ago, lots of new shops and restaurants and so forth have opened up. So it's a major leisure activities. The Ocean Village, so get right down to the waterfront there. Again, lots of restaurants, bars, independent cinemas and that kind of thing. And here are students, you see, they're all very happy and, it comes down to every other university you go to, they're all miserable. Southampton, they're really happy, right? So this is the Southampton Common, one of the biggest open green spaces in the UK. So it's an urban park of 365 acres. So it's a really big space. It's right over there. Walk out of the other end of our building and you're on Southampton Common, which is nice, quite nice. We have lots of campuses. We're spread around Southampton, Winchester, and also, as you can see, Malaysia. Not particularly relevant to you. The key thing for you, I think, is where you are right now, the Avenue campus. Called that because we're off the Avenue, and the Avenue is this dead straight Roman road that leads from Southampton to the old former capital city of Winchester. So we're on the Avenue campus. This is the home of all of humanities, bar music. Music are on the Highfield campus, and the reason for that is because they have lots of rehearsal rooms there, and they want to be close to the concert hall. But all of the rest of humanities, archaeology through film to modern languages and linguistics, is here. And this is our home. We feel it's I don't know what you feel about it. We like it here. It's a nice kind of cozy environment. It's just been through a massive £3 million refurbishment program. So if you smell paint in any of the rooms, that's why. It wasn't for your benefit. It's just been all been done. And this is where most of your time would be spent. You would spend some of your time on the other campus where the Students' Union is and where the library is. So you will go over there, and some of your classes might be there. But it's a 10-minute walk down the common. If you're late, 6 or 7 minutes running, right? You can do it. But this is our home. The cafe is here. It's a kind of cozy kind of environment, I think, for students. And after a while, you settle in and you feel everything is very familiar. All right, let me get into the heart of things now. What is available? What kinds of things do we offer you? We have a very wide range of degree programs. They're all explained in detail in our brochures and in the website, so I'm not going to stand here and bore you by running through all the specific points about each individual degree program. But I just wanted to highlight a few things that I think perhaps stand out and we want you to take away with you. I'll start with one of our newest programs, which is not in foreign languages at all. As I say, my area is in German. We also teach degree programs in Spanish, French, and Portuguese. And you can do other languages alongside those. But we have, since last year, a brand new and growing degree program, which I think some of you here today are interested in, which is English Language and Linguistics, where there's no required other language or foreign language component, if you like. You can, because all of our programs have flexibility built in, you can always have 1 or 2 modules free, so outside what you're doing, you can pluck something else out of what's available and say, I'd like to do that too. So you could still do some Spanish or something if you like, but there's no requirement. The other programs, which have been running for longer, range from single language degrees in these languages that are named here, French, German, Spanish, and also, you can't do single in Portuguese, but you can do those 3. You can do 2 languages together, so combine any of our 2 languages. It may be both starting from A-level or with an IB, or it might be that you've got an A-level in one and the other one you've never done before at all. So it's quite possible to pick up one completely from scratch and take it through to degree level. You can, if you're a super language nerd and you like collecting languages, I'm not being rude to those who are thinking of applying for that, just if you're really keen on collecting languages and having a large language portfolio, you can do a 3-language degree, the one called BA Modern Languages. And that's typically with an A-level in 2 of them, and then the 3rd one is something wholly new you've never done before. It doesn't have to be, but that's the typical pattern. Big plus of doing something like that, so I was discussing with somebody just now outside, is that doing something brand new at university might seem a bit risky, but that's the kind of thing that actually employers really like. They like to see, yes, what have you done to a high level, things that you've taken through from school all the way up to university. That's often taken as a good thing. So employers like to see a bit of a risk-taking approach, a willingness to learn new things, curiosity, and to show that you're a learner. Very often people leave university, start a job, and they may be employed on the basis of things they've done, but employers increasingly want you to be adaptable and flexible and willing to try new things. Can we take a risk with this person we've just hired to go off and open up a new branch somewhere else? They haven't done it before. Are they open to that kind of thing? So having done something like that is often seen as a very good sign. So alongside the larger languages that we teach, French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, you can also do other ones such as Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, and so forth. Another option is to take one of our languages, say French or Spanish, with a completely different subject area, normally on a 50-50 basis. So you'd maybe do half French and half film, or half German and half history. Our offer, what would you need to get on one of our degree programs? Again, there's some flexibility around this, but the typical thing that you might want to know is for our BA programs, we look for 2 A's and a B, at least at A-level, and a particular score if you're doing IB. For the M-Lang program, which I'll come back onto in a minute, it's normally 3 A's at A-level and a higher IB requirement. I would just like to point out that we can be flexible, particularly if you're doing the extended project. Southampton was one of the first universities to accept the EPQ as a recognised qualification for coming to university, and we're really keen on it. We think it's a great thing. Really shows, again, a curiosity, a desire to be an independent researcher, and that's exactly the kind of thing that we're looking for. So if you're doing that, then we could be a little bit more flexible in the A-level grades that we look for if you get a very good grade in the EPQ. Now, I mentioned the M-Lang just now, the integrated master's degree, which is something very special to Southampton. There's 1 or 2 beginning to emerge around the country now similar to it, but we sort of blazed a trail, if you like, on this particular thing, which is to offer, in the same period of time as a BA program lasts, 4 years, a master's level qualification. So rather than doing, say, 4 years of a BA and then opting to do another year of a separate master's course, so 5 years in total, you get the master's level qualification in 4 years. And one of the good things about that is that the same funding options are available to you as for BA programs. So in terms of getting student loans, that applies through the 4 years of the M-Lang program, just as it does for the BA. If you were to do a BA and then a separate master's later, that's possible. You can possibly get some access to student loans now as well, but our program gives you certainty that you'll be able to get those loans all the way through and come out with this master level qualification. You can do that in either 1 language or 2, but if you do 2, you need A-level in both. So this program is a bit more, deliberately, a bit more restricted as it's a bit more specialised than the BA programs. In your year abroad, which I'll talk about in more detail in a while, again, because we have a very particular aim with this program, you would go to one of our selected partners elsewhere in Europe and follow university courses there as part of your degree program. While you're there, you would do the local courses alongside local students, but you'd also do some modules for us on a kind of distance basis. You do them online and in conjunction with us, so through email and Skype and so forth. You then come back, and in your final year, some of the modules you take will be at master's level. So you're alongside MA students from other programs. And at the very end of it all, you write a dissertation. So our very first cohort of MLang students, it's been running for 4 years now, are just right at that point now. Actually, Luke, one of our MLang students, who is one of the students out there today in the light blue t-shirts, he is right in the throes of doing his dissertation at the moment. So he's got about another 3 weeks to get that done. Okay, I'll jump on for it. Now, one of the things that everybody has in common, amongst all of you in the room, I guess, you have lots of different interests in studying modern languages and linguistics, or in, so if you're not doing the English language program, but if you're doing the modern languages programs, whatever else you're interested in, obviously you're interested in learning languages. Why else would you be wanting to study this? One of the things you will definitely want is to take your existing level of proficiency and take it up as far as you can possibly go. So one of the tasks that we set ourselves right from the very outset is to say, who are you? Where are you now? What is your level of this particular language? You might be at the same level of proficiency, say, in French and Spanish, or you might be at a pretty advanced level in French and a rather less advanced level in Spanish, or whatever. We'll look at that. We'll put you into one of 7 stages, where stage 1 is complete beginner, and stage 7 is the farthest we can get you, something like close to native speaker level. And our task is to make sure that you progress as fast as you can. You're never overstretched, but you're never treading water either. So we try to kind of tailor it so that each student at each part of their program is at the right level for them. This is very unusual around the country. One way to achieve this is by saying that the people who are in charge of that, the people who teach you French language or Russian language or whatever, it's what they do. They are dedicated language teaching professionals. Now you might think, well, duh, what else would they be? You're not going to bring a bricklayer in to teach me Spanish language. Well, true, although, they might have separate skills. Our point in saying this is that it isn't everywhere the case that the people who teach language do nothing else. So it could be, that I teach German language, and in fact, in the dim and distant past, I have done that. I did it for years, in fact. I hope I didn't do it too badly. But it wasn't my specialism. I may be a professor of German. It doesn't mean that I'm brilliant at teaching particular aspects of German grammar or something like that. Why should I necessarily be good at that? I hope I'm good at using it. Can I teach it? Well, I think I need to be trained and experienced to do that. What I would always say is, every time you walk into a classroom, for whatever it is, don't you want to be taught by somebody who specializes in that thing? If you go into my subject area in linguistics, and you're doing a module in linguistics, surely the person at the front of the room should be a specialist in linguistics, right? You're getting the best person for the job. Well, I feel that should apply to everything, including language as well. So what we do here in Southampton is to hire people over the long term who are highly qualified and experienced in language teaching, and that's what they do. We have also, in this campus here, as part of our refurbishments, a new dedicated space for learning languages, named the Library and Learning Common. It's a space upstairs here with loads of facilities and equipment, everything from low-tech, print magazines, through to all sorts of technical facilities and resources that you can draw on to help and support your language learning. We also have, on a more personal and human level, a language advisory service, so that if you've been doing a language class, say a German language class, and you didn't really quite get the particular point that was being worked on in this class, and you're a bit unsure about it and you'd like a bit more help, or say you're working on a homework assignment and you're struggling to get the structure right or something like that, well then you can book in an appointment for a one-to-one consultation with somebody who'll go through that with you. So you're not having to think about, what are other people thinking about me, or am I holding the class up, or something like that. It's one-to-one, it's your time, and they will patiently talk you through it. So that's what everybody does. All of you, by definition, are interested, sorry to those of you who want the English language program. If you're doing the foreign languages program, by definition, you want to come here and learn languages. But what else do you do? My side of things, as I'm not one of the language teaching colleagues, together with colleagues in the rest of linguistics, in history and literary studies and cultural studies, a whole wide range of areas that we teach. We put together a program of modules that cover a very wide range of subject areas in individual languages like German, French and Spanish and so on, and some modules that cut right across them. They start at the beginning, in year 1, foundation year. We introduce you to this stuff. What is it? Even if you've done some linguistics before or you've done some literature before, it won't be the way we do it at university. So we feel we need to start afresh. And many of you won't have ever done that kind of thing before, but you might like a chance to do it. So we like to say it's a bit like a marketplace. We spread out our wares in front of you and you say, this is what's available, this is what we do, and this is how we do it. Have a go, see how you get on, see what you like, what you don't like. And at the end of the first year, you've had a good taste of everything. You talk things over with your personal tutor, and you say, okay, now I know, now I'm much clearer what I like and what I'm good at. Next year I want to choose these things. And you have a very big degree of choice from the second year on in terms of what you can go for. Great thing about year 1 then is you get a range of things to try. You need to pass because we need to be confident that you're coping and you can carry on. Most people do. But the marks don't count. So you can take a few risks, a few gambles and say, not sure what this is like, but I'll give it a go. As long as you pass it, that's fine. The marks are just wiped off and you start afresh at the beginning of year 2. So from then on, everything will count and that's what your degree will be based on. I'm going to jump that bit, I think. Now, told you a bit about the kinds of things that we do ourselves, the language side, the so-called content side, in other words, the kind of cultural component of the curriculum. What do other people say about us? I always find this a bit embarrassing, actually, but people want to know, and they say, well, where do you fit, you know? Everything's about league tables these days. We want to know, are you any good? And there's not much good me saying, yes, we're wonderful. Thank you, Matt. Move on to the next slide. Let me just show you a few things that have been said about us. There are indeed lots of surveys, lots of evaluations, lots of league tables. Make of them what you will. Modern Languages and Linguistics in Southampton has actually consistently done well in the major surveys over the last 10 years. So maybe 1 year up, 1 year a bit down, but we've always been right up there in the top 5 or certainly the top 10. That must mean something, we think. A very important thing, I think, from your perspective is how do students feel about it? Student satisfaction is really important, and every year, in every university across the UK, all final year students are asked, how was it for you? Did you like it? Are the lecturers any good? How was the feedback? What were the courses like? And so on. And they're very frank, as you can imagine. So to get average or above average consistently across all of the different things we do, we feel is pretty good. And in some of the surveys, you know, on some aspects of what we do, we're getting up 85, 90% good or above. So again, this is what students themselves say, and it's totally independent of us. What this all adds up to, I think, and another measure in the sense of how things work and how successful our programs are for you, for the students, is that our students, with our support, become good learners and good achievers in what they do. And a measure of that perhaps is that the students to whom we're going to be awarding degrees in 10 days' time, this year's graduation, of those 85% will have a first-class degree or an upper second, a 2-1. So overwhelmingly, our students will be coming out in 10 days' time with exactly the kind of degree you would hope to get. So very, very high proportion. And we don't just dish them out like confetti, you have to earn them. I'll skip the next point, but I think the last point is perhaps important because you might think, well, research is not very interesting for me. That's what those guys do, the lecturers, professors, that's what they do in their vacations and so on. That's quite true. But I think it's actually kind of important for you to feel that you are coming, if you were to come here, to a leading research university, and this is a leading research department. So every few years, every subject area, every university in the UK is evaluated for the quality of its research. Incredibly thorough exercise. The so-called Research Excellence Framework. Silly title, but that's what they call it. Southampton Modern Languages and Linguistics was 5th the last time this was done, a couple of years, 3 years ago now. So that's out of about 100. So, again, we think our research quality is good. Why should that matter to you? Well, I think it should because, again, think what I was saying before. Who's teaching you? Who's walking in to give you a lecture on Monday mornings? Shouldn't it be somebody who's actively researching, hopefully even leading in the field that they're teaching on? Isn't that going to mean more to you to feel you get your documentation for the module, you look at the reading list, and you see your teacher's name on there? Oh, there's a couple of books by the guys or the woman who's teaching me this module. That's not because they're showing off, but it's because that's what they do, and they are in there developing the field that you're learning. And sometimes you'll walk into a classroom, you'll be working on something in a particular week, and you'll get access in that week to the latest research that person is working on right now and hasn't even been published yet. So students at other universities around the country don't know this yet. They don't get access to it. So I think that's kind of nice. And it's quite important for you, I think. And what do our students say? Well, again, you might say, I'm being selective here. I guess I am. But this is just a few extracts from what students have given in terms of evaluations in the annual Student Union Teaching Excellence Awards. So this is totally separate from us. We have nothing to do with this. But the Students' Union have a number of prizes, if you like, that they give to the lecturing staff every year. And colleagues in modern languages and linguistics have done pretty well in this in the last few years. And these are the sorts of comments that have come from the students who've nominated them for the award. So things that they like, their modules are inspiring, engaging, and challenging. Lots of enthusiasm. Their feedback has helped me drastically improve my work in Spanish. Brilliant feedback. Door is always open, ready to see you. They listen intently to what you have to say. These are things we like to hear because this is what we try to do. And it's these awards which we think show that, at least in some cases, we're succeeding, we're getting there. And just a final point in terms of research, we have 4 major research centres within our department in modern languages and linguistics. And again, I just think this is actually important because if you come here as a student, you'll be part of the whole academic community here. Even as a first-year student, you're entering into a research world, a world in which people come from all over the globe to have conferences and seminars and give talks and so on, to which you're welcome to come. It's not just for staff. Talking about the latest ideas, how they're trying to change their subject and introduce completely new ways of looking at things. First thing I always say, beginning to the first semester, first class of students I see, when you come back late September, October, they walk in here for the first time, as I always say, welcome to your first day to becoming a researcher. And they all look at me a bit scared. I'm not a researcher, I'm in the wrong room, I'm a student. And I say, no, sit down. You are going to be researchers. That's what we all do. Learning at university is about asking good questions, knowing where to go and look for answers, and learning how to evaluate what a good answer is. So, yes, we're the experts, but our job is, over the 4 years that you're with us here, is to make you experts in the same way. Now, one of the things people always want to know about is if you're doing a modern languages degree, and this could even actually apply to students doing the English language and linguistics degree, who don't have to go abroad if they don't want to, but they can if they wish. The modern languages students always talk about the year abroad as a really exciting opportunity to, you've already left home to come to Southampton or wherever it is you're studying for a couple of years. That's for many people a big step. But then to go and live in, say, Mexico or China or even in France, say, not too far away, is another big step. Very challenging, not a holiday. You may go to places where you've been on holiday, but it isn't going to the beach for a couple of weeks. It's going on your own somewhere where you may not have been before and having to fend for yourself. And you can't rush home with your washing. You can ring up to learn how to cook something, but mum or dad isn't going to come rushing to do it for you. You've got to do it yourself. So it is challenging, but it's exciting as well. It's a real opportunity to get out there and to test out those languages you've been working on for 2 years or more. And really develop it right there in the real world context outside a seminar room here in Southampton. Whether it's absolutely the best year or not will vary from one student to another, but it's what they all seem to say when they graduate. And I guarantee that in 10 days' time, when I'm sitting on the platform behind our Vice-Chancellor, handing out the degrees to this year's graduates, he will say, "Congratulations, well done. What was the best bit about studying here?" All of the staff will be sitting behind him and will all be mouthing, "The year abroad." And we say, "Oh, cheers for that. That's the year when we're not there and you're somewhere else." So, well, we know what they mean. We think they like the 3 years that they're here. Ask the blue T-shirts if they enjoyed it. I think they are enjoying it. But what they mean, I think, is that this was what's special and what's different. Which other degree program has a year abroad in it? None. So this is a really special thing, and it's really exciting. It has its ups and its downs, but on balance, it's positive. What can you do? Well, on the M-Lang program, as I said earlier, your choices are restricted because this is a sort of flat-out 4 years academic program, if you like. So the year abroad must be at a university, and it will be from one of a fairly small set of partner universities that we pick. We've been to a number of times personally to make absolutely sure that our colleagues there know what we need from them and what our students will need. But we'll advise you on that and guide you and point you towards that. BA students can do that. They have a wider choice of universities to choose from because we have lots of partner universities, and you just say which one you'd like to go to, and you can go and study there. Unlike for the M-Lang students, the marks that you get for the modules you do will not count towards your degree. You have to pass them, bring certificates back, but again, it's a chance to experiment and try new things. You can go abroad as part of the British Council Language Assistantship Scheme, which means going to be an English language teaching assistant in a school or a college, or it might mean, say, in Mexico to a language center at the university there. There's various possibilities. Useful, of course, if you want to get outside the immediate academic environment for a while and try something else, have a go at being a teacher, see what that's like. Even if you're not interested in teaching, some of our students opt for that because it gives you your first, in many cases, first chance to just try doing something independently like that. Try and have the responsibility of organizing a class. Try for the first time doing what I'm doing now, standing up in front of a bunch of people and actually having to deliver something, to organize and arrange a class, to take some responsibility for students and their learning. So regardless of whether it's teaching you might be interested in later or not, it tells you something about yourself and your own abilities. Or it could be, thirdly, that you think, well, no, I don't want to go, I like university, but I want to do something else for a while. I don't really fancy a teaching scheme. I want to go out there and get some regular work experience, if you like. Well, you can do that, and increasingly our students are opting to do that. We don't have a set of jobs and say, right, choose which job you want. That would be almost impossible to do. But what we do have is a lot of experience over years of our students doing this kind of thing, and we gather information about which employers actually worked well for them and might be interested in more students. And so if you aren't able to find a work placement for yourselves, we can sort of steer you towards certain ones that might be possible. And we can advise you on things that would be suitable. Unsuitable would be being an au pair, for example. It's fine being an au pair during summer holidays, totally okay. Not okay as part of a 4-year academic program during a year abroad. But all sorts of other things are good, and our students do an amazing range of different sorts of jobs there. In terms of fees, which I know is going to be important for everybody, these are not set by us. Everything you know is set at a national government level. And the current requirement is that you would pay 15% of the normal fee for the year abroad. And you might think, well, why am I paying anything? You know, I'm going away. Well, you are, but you're still registered as a University of Southampton student, which means you still have full access all the time to our facilities that are available remotely, such as the library, for example. But you're also working, whatever you're doing on any of these placements, on a year abroad assignment for us. It's a project that you prepare in the second year. It's all about the locality that you're spending your year abroad in. And you work on that with your supervisor in here in Southampton while you're abroad, again by email and by Skype and so on. Okay. On this topic then, year abroad, the B word, I want to say a very little bit about Brexit. This, of course, is something which is independent of us, and at the moment, there's absolutely nothing really any of us can say about what the future will hold in terms of our access to the Erasmus Plus program, which has been an absolutely fundamental part of what we and all our colleagues around the UK and other universities have done for many years. It's been an invaluable program It's the bedrock of all of our modern languages degrees. We very much hope that whatever the outcome is in 2 years' time, a way will be found for us to continue to have access to this kind of program. I've put on there a quotation from the Erasmus Plus organisation itself, who say we cannot speculate on any possible future scenarios following the UK's exit from the EU, but we note the government position is that UK participation in some EU programmes may continue subject to the negotiations. So very carefully worded, but they're basically saying that is the government position. They've listened to us. All our vice-chancellors all the time are going to the government saying, please, please, whatever else happens, make it possible for us to continue having our really close links with our European partners. And I assure you, the Southampton VC is very vocal on that and is playing a very leading role in it. Now, you've come here, you've hopefully had an exciting time in your 3 years in Southampton, and if you go on a year abroad, you've had an amazing time one way or another there as well. You've done all that. You come out the other end, and as I say, in 10 days' time, if you were here, you'd see what you could be like in 4 or 5 years' time. Our graduates, they leave. And then suddenly, the world opens up and you think, now what? So the first time in their lives, it's not September will be coming around again, and it'll be another year's worth of courses or something. No, it's out there into the world of work. Well, this is really important, and I know for you as students, even though it's a long way off yet, you're still at school or college, haven't even started university, but it must be in your mind, it costs a lot of money. Look, I'm a parent of 2 kids who've studied it as well, so I do know about costs. I'm not just a teacher, I'm a parent too. It costs a lot of money, and it's also a big investment of time and energy and everything else. Is it worth it? I'd like to think, and I've told you how long I've been doing this, I feel now as passionate as I do about the whole business of learning and about research that I did 38 years ago and longer. But I hope you'll get that. I hope you will really feel that really is the point. But I know at the end of all that, you need more. You can't just say, I had a wonderful time, now what? You do need to have a sense, I'm heading somewhere. We know that, and we believe that too. So, where will this kind of thing take you? Well, any degree will give you some benefit. Of course it will. We feel that modern languages degrees, and particularly the way we try to prepare you here, gives you a lot extra. And we know from talking to lots of employers in different sectors the kinds of things that they look for. Yes, they'll want certain kinds of knowledge, and knowing from 1, 2, maybe 3 foreign languages is that kind of knowledge. It's a big plus. But they actually want lots more than that. They often look beyond that. They're thinking, that's what you've got now, but what kind of promise or potential have you got? And this is why we pick out these kinds of skills, intercultural competence, team-working skills, interpersonal skills, all these kinds of things that you really only get through all the different kinds of ways of working that we have with you. It might be sitting on your own in a library late at night, reading for an assignment. It might be preparing a group presentation. It might be writing a project or an essay or a dissertation. There's all sorts of things you'll be doing that require you to develop lots of different skills, which you can then use elsewhere, not just for academic study, but in other contexts too. Now, I've bolded here the 2 things that employers say to us again and again they value most of all. It's confidence and the ability to adapt. Life doesn't stay the same, right? Life today is very volatile and changing. The world of employment is like that. And all sorts of employers have come to us and said, we need your graduates to be people who, yes, they need to be clever and they need to have done well, but that's one thing. We need to feel that these are people who have got a sort of self-belief and self-confidence. And this is the kind of thing that we believe our courses can give you. And above all, this unique experience of the year abroad. And the ability to adapt, well, you have to be able to adapt to be able to do this kind of study. And we feel very confident that our students are leaving here with these sorts of skills. What do they go on to do? Most people think, oh, languages, well, it's teaching, isn't it? What else can you do? Well, I'm a teacher. I think it's a bad job. I'm not going to decry that. However, I put it down at the end of the list here, teaching and research, because it's the obvious thing to think of. There's many other things that graduates from all UK university modern languages go on to do. Everything from civil service through the financial world to travel and tourism, catering, the retail world, IT, all sorts of things. So there are many different options. And in terms of our students, you won't have time to read this, but I've just put a little sort of mosaic together of our recent graduates and things that they've gone on to do. Andrew, up at the very top there, who just left, finished his course a few weeks ago, and moved out of here of Southampton in order to move to his job at Barclays on the Monday. So he had a kind of weekend between leaving here and starting his job. Not everybody's like that. But lots of other things are available, and you can just see, just by, if you dip in here, you can see an extraordinary range of things that people have gone on to do. If you want the kind of hard statistics, I won't dwell on this, but you can see that our graduates are highly employable people. Only 4% of our graduates after 6 months or so are not in employment. And actually that figure is very easy to explain. It's really because who are languages graduates? They're mostly people who like traveling. They've done that kind of thing and they have a real taste for it. And quite a lot of them actually say, I don't want to jump into the world of work straight away. I want to go back traveling again, revisit places I've been, go to new places. So that's pretty much how these unemployed people are. It's people who've chosen to go and do something else for a while. If you gather statistics after more than 6 months, you'll find it's pretty much zero. Now, I'm not going to dwell on these, but we've just randomly put together a selection of a few very recent jobs, some of them advertised just last week, just to show that there's lots of jobs out there which are specifically aimed at languages graduates. So here's one looking for a French and Spanish-speaking sales executive. Here's somebody in digital marketing with a specialism in knowing German and Spanish. An account manager needing to, in a financial company, in a publishing company, needs Italian. Here, a graduate analyst on a pretty tasty graduate salary of £36,000 plus benefits, having Arabic or Mandarin. So a range of different kinds of things that could be available to you. Now, just very briefly, because I need to stop in a minute and you're all dying of heat in here, I can see. Didn't want to leave without saying, in terms of preparing you for work and helping you find work, is that we want you to know that we don't simply say, look, we'll do the teaching stuff, teach you French language, we'll teach you German linguistics, we'll teach you film or history or whatever, and at the end, well done, here's your degree certificate, off you go, I'm sure you'll find a job, you'll be fine. We don't do that. We say, all of the stuff that we do with you, we seriously think will help to make you employable. All those skills you acquire, those are highly valued. But on top of that, you will need support as you go along. You will need guidance on how to write a really convincing CV. You will need guidance on how to, if you like, market yourself, put yourself out there in terms of online CVs, on LinkedIn, something like that. Not relying, I strongly suggest, on Facebook. If you want prospective employers to have a look at your Facebook page, they're maybe seeing things that you're not so keen for them to see. So cultivate something like a LinkedIn profile. So we'll give you lots of lectures, chances to meet employers, all the way through your years in Southampton. We'll be giving you support in terms of very practical, hands-on things, how to prepare yourself for putting yourself out there in the world of work. Things like, for example, the buddy scheme, where you're paired up with a student who's a bit more advanced than you to give you a bit of advice and so forth. Opportunity to meet employers who come in and talk about their businesses or whatever they do. Chance for you to quiz them. Our alumni, which means former students who come back and after 2 years, 4 years, 10 years and tell you how their careers have gone since they left. So it's very concrete. And again, you can quiz them. And you can go out to work for local businesses and get some work experience that way too. Okay, you're all about to expire. I need to get some fresh air again, and I've talked for long enough, I'm sure. But I would just like to leave you with some key messages to take away, because I know I've covered quite a lot of ground, and I hope it's the kind of things that you wanted to know. But we are here for a few more hours yet. If you'd like to come talk to any of us individually for particular questions you'd like to ask, please do that. No question is too simple. There are no such thing as stupid questions. Just anything that's bothering you or you feel we haven't covered, come and find us in the breakout room and we'll happily do that. What I'd like to just leave you with is these last points here. The essence of what we think we offer in all of our modern languages and linguistics programs in Southampton is choice and flexibility. Yes, we're the experts. This is our profession. We know what we think belongs in the curriculum of any one of our degree programs. But beyond that, Unlike when I was a student, when I went to university and I was told what I was going to do, this is what you do in year 1, that's what you do in year 2. We set out in front of you what we think are good things to study. We create what we think are good and inspiring and exciting modules. But then we say, beyond a certain point, you decide. Decide what it is that motivates and inspires and interests you. And that you could put together with your personal tutor, and you end up with your own degree package. So we get plenty of choice, plenty of flexibility. You're not trapped inside anything you don't want to do. I want to stress the intellectual and personal challenges that our programs and life here at university give you. It's not a holiday camp. We want you to enjoy yourselves. You will have plenty of spare time. You'll have a social life. But you're coming here for 4 years to study and to learn. And we said before, it's a big investment. It's got to be worth it. And not just at the end, but while you're here. We want to challenge you intellectually. We want to give you difficult things to get your head around and to work on that together with you. We want to give you personal challenges too, learning all about independence and how to think for yourselves. We want to give you teaching that isn't just endlessly recycled, lift out last year's lecture and do the same thing again. This is teaching that is rooted in research that's going on right now. People who are doing fresh research, bringing in fresh ideas into their teaching. We want you to feel that when you come here, the people who teach you, whether it's French language or Spanish linguistics or German film, whatever it is that grabs you and that you're interested in, that these are people who are committed to what they do. It's what gets them out of bed in the morning. They like to do it, and they feel passionate about it. And we also want you to feel that when you would come here, you won't see it so much today because it's a Saturday, but come here on a weekday, you'll find you're in a very, very international environment. This is a middling-sized city on the south coast of England, but you'll find in our university environment here people from literally every country in the world. And I don't think, whatever Brexit turns out to be like, that's going to change a great deal. We are way beyond Europe, we are global. And I think you would find that this is an exciting aspect of life here as a student. Now I am going to stop, and I'm going to thank you very much indeed for your patience and for, I think most of you are still awake and you haven't collapsed quite yet, but please, on behalf of everybody, and all my colleagues here and all the students, I'd like to thank you again for taking the trouble and the time to come here. I know some of you have travelled a long way and given up your spare time. We really appreciate that, and we're grateful to you for coming. We hope you found it helpful and useful. If we haven't been clear enough about things or we haven't covered points, please ask us and we'll do our absolute best to provide the answers that you're looking for.